How's it going, everybody? I'm filming this on Friday. I'm going to be putting it up, well, you'll be seeing it on Saturday, but I am filming it on Friday. But it's a video I wanted to do for a little bit. It's totally just talking anxiety again and migraines, which I've covered in the past. But it was kind of, somebody on Instagram had put, a thing like, how was your anxiety during, the quarantine and stuff? And I actually commented on the thing saying, mine's actually better, and actually that's kind of actually changed, and it wasn't even that long ago. Maybe that was like 3 weeks ago or something. It's actually changed now. My anxiety is actually ramped up a little bit now when I'm in public. That's what the thing was, how's your anxiety in public? Because at first, I'd go in and there was less people in there and stuff, but it was more, as crazy as it sounds, but the way, like supermarkets and stuff have, the way it's like better straight. They have like, you got to go down aisle, at least here on Long Island, you got to go down aisles this way, certain ways, even though myself included, sometimes I'm just like, oh, I didn't even notice, and I go in the other way. No one really seems to mind, but and the way you have to like kind of wait online, and then someone will be like, okay, this lane's open, this lane, aisle 13's open, or register 13, I should say. And it was more like it was more organized and structured, which I actually liked. It was actually like, for me, it was less stressful and less. It would cause less anxiety because everything was like, okay, I don't have to rush myself to a thing, worry about having someone directly behind me, and that's nothing to do with like the COVID stuff. Like usually, if I was online in a supermarket and someone's like directly behind me and someone's in front of me and I'm like sandwiched between the two, I would get really like, I'd start to like get anxious and stuff and just nervous for whatever reason. Anybody who has it knows this stuff. But it was more structured. You go online, you do your stuff. When you were kind of done with yours, the person would come behind, so there was nobody in front of you, and the gap between you and the person behind you was much greater, so it was like less there. But now it's like weird, like afterwards, like it's like not even because more people are in there. I think it's just for some reason, like it's we went out to a restaurant, it was outside. This obviously nothing came of it because this was like 3 weeks ago now. If you're to believe that 2 weeks, is the amount of time here, to, your peak point of getting it, I guess, or your latest point would be 2 weeks, but we went to this outside place. It's on the water, on the canal and water and stuff. And I was just like nervous there. Nobody had masks on. So I know every state's different with masks, and I don't, everybody's got their own opinions on masks, whatever. And whatever, I wouldn't expect people to be wearing them anyway, but it wasn't even that. The tables were far enough apart and stuff, but there was like this weird, like, it was like an extra added thing for people who are anxious and stuff, get anxious easily. It's like all of a sudden it hit me. It's like, oh my God, something like a restaurant or something. This is going to be an added thing because I'm going to have this crap in my mind, and the chances of something happening in reality aren't, great in truth. I mean, even in New York where we're getting, we've got pummeled for a long time, Suffolk and Nassau County and the 5 boroughs, and even Rockland County and Westchester County got crushed more than like most countries, and which is nuts. But it's like this added thing now, like, oh, this is a concern now. What if somebody starts sneezing and coughing? That's, for me, is the big thing, mask or no mask. If you're like, in close to me and all of a sudden you start coughing, that's when I was really going to hit a peak. And that would be normally too anyway, because if you're a person who gets anxious, you just get anxious, and I get that way, you like making simple things as making phone calls used to be such an issue for me. It's easier now, but it still can be a problem. But I went to refill my prescription, my stomach pill prescription. I'm like, all right. I had a thing with the doctor where I would just go in, he would come out real quick, just fill the prescription and leave, and a quick thing, nothing crazy. And I was like, oh man, I started getting nervous. This could be a problem. I don't know how they're going to run things, but they run things extremely tight. You got to call before you go in there. You're the only one in there, temperature checked and everything else. So then he's like, you haven't gotten physical in a while. He's trying to like get me to do my physical. I'm like, I don't want to do that right now. I think I said I'd eaten something or some shit. So I signed that up. I made an appointment for August 5th to do that, but I like the way it's set up in there. So that made me calmer, which I kind of like that. Which is good. And that's to me, it's like, in some ways, like I was saying with the other stuff, with the supermarket, the structure. This is going to be kind of a ramble too. I'm going to be all over the place. I'm talking about anxiety. It's hard for me to keep like thoughts straight going. I can improvise better in my videos than I can actually discussing something I have a lot of experience with. But I like that structure. For me, the structure means less anxiety. The organization and the structure means less anxiety. You know, things are not as chaotic. Cat just went in the pan, so you're probably hearing that. But it's like that helped. Then now it's like I go certain places. I mean, the laundromat at first actually was causing me anxiety. Now I don't mind going there at all. Actually, it's kind of almost therapeutic just going and hanging out in the laundromat for like an hour and a half, whatever. And then there's like, you know, certain things, but then other things like the restaurant thing was a problem. I think that would be a problem for most people too. I'm not going to, you know, sit here and everybody's anxiety I think is going up a little bit. You know, the train, now she's crying, of course, the train and stuff, you know, because I can take the train when I go with my friend, the train, the bus is a little bit of an issue for sure because it's a smaller bus. For some reason, they had part of the bus blocked off for a bit. Like they weren't even charging, and the front was blocked off by the driver and a few of the seats in the front, and the bigger bus is normal sized bus, because they were even before that they were using a smaller bus, because I guess there's not a lot of people that get on this route and whatever. I don't know what the reasoning was actually. So I'm all of a sudden they start using a small bus again. All of a sudden, like, what, because we're in phase 4 or something, it's fine now. If that bus gets packed, there's a good chance you're going to be sitting next to someone. Now that's going to be an issue, mask or no mask or whatever. If someone's got something, no matter what it is, if any kind of sickness, you're going to get that shit, you know. And it's like, really? You it's all of a sudden because things are moving forward a little bit. It's like, oh, mysteriously, you can't get anything. It's just, all that stuff's crazy. But it's like, I'm sitting there like, the bus is a little nerve-wracking. On the way home, it was fine. The way there, actually, yesterday was pretty packed. It was like 11 total people on it, and, you know, not at the same time. I think it was 8 at the same time. It's just a much smaller bus, you know, and so that adds more stress as well. And I would get anxious from that bus regardless, because I don't want to sit next to anybody that I don't know normally anyway, because then it's like, oh, I have to be like, oh, can I sit here, you know, and it's just interaction, you know, anxiety, people get anxious, the interaction is always something that makes you nervous, and I don't like confrontation at all. It's like a fear, you know, I've been like this my whole life, you know, and it's a huge detriment to me, you know, but it's like all of a sudden this, you know, the mask stuff, and people with masks, without masks, they start going at it with each other, you know. And then it's like funny, because if you get into a fight or something, it's like, well, now you're physically touching each other, so now your chances of getting hurt are even greater, you know. But it's just added confrontation that makes me extremely, like, I'm not one of those people that's just gonna get in your face and give you shit for something that never has been me. I hate it. I can't stand it. I'm almost terrified to it in a lot of ways. Unless it comes, like, there's times I've gotten pissed, but it's very rare where I really get pissed and angry. You know, so all of that, you know, it all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, there's added things, you know, there's additional things for people with anxiety, or throwing these, or people who just have a fear of confrontation or whatever. There's additional things in the mix. You know, if I had no problem giving people a piece of my mind, or, you know, maybe when I was younger, we'll say now I wouldn't be doing that anyway, get into fist fights if I had to and stuff, my life would be completely different. Let's be honest, my life would be completely different, you know. Okay, I wouldn't have these fears that I have and stuff. It's the same thing with driving. I don't drive because of, you know, just a fear of something happening, and then all of a sudden I have to, like, it's almost a fear of responsibility in its way. It's like, oh my God, fear of like the consequence and stuff too, you know, like, oh my God, I did something to somebody else and I'm not gonna be able to get over it, you know. Because stuff like, I think a lot of people that have anxiety stuff, maybe people can relate to this, you can mention in the comments, even small things that, like, you know, a little, say, you know, times I do get into confrontations, or I get loud with people, or, you know, maybe I get into a little, I've gotten into scuffles, you know, with friends over time, but nothing crazy. But regardless, that stuff sticks. It doesn't just, because that's, once again, it's not like, oh, it happened, move on, doesn't matter anymore. It's not a big deal. To me, it becomes such a big deal, and it just, I could be thinking about it like 5 years later, you know. It's crazy, you know, like, and I'm like that of, oh, did I say the right thing to this person? How did they take, like, I try to, in my mind, I'm trying to think of how they may have taken something I said, if they took it the way I didn't want them, you know. It's just, this cat's being really annoying, but all that stuff is just, it's so much. Please be quiet, cat. It is just all that stuff. It's just so much, and, you know, I think now it's think it will go back to my normal levels. Although my levels were coming down with a lot of things too when I was, going to the guidance center and whatnot. But, it's just, when you get anxious easily or you have fear of certain things, you want things to go smoothly as possible. And this is the real world. It doesn't happen that way, not all the time, obviously, but it's just tough, and I guess, my anxiety has gotten, it's still in supermarkets is fine. Certain places like Reddit, but, we can avoid restaurants for now anyway, but, other than that one time we went, and obviously the bus and train's an issue. The train doesn't really bother me that much because it's bigger and there's not many people on when I go on there yet, because I think the city's still, doing their thing, so a lot of people that go to travel from Long Island, they go into the city by train. So it's like, I got my mask on in places, if a place wants, if a business wants you to wear a mask, then, that's what they want, and if you don't like that, you don't shop there, I'm not one, once again, to go nuts in a store, because that's another thing I don't want. Like, even if I get loud with my fiance or we're having a little argument, like, I don't want other people to hear it, because to me, it's like, no, I don't, that's another thing that gets me really, like, but, it's ramped up a little bit in certain instances now, but in other ones it hasn't. I mean, going to the garage sales I've gone to, I've been fine. Even sometimes going to garage sales, I get nervous getting there. I'm like, oh my God, interacting. But that's why I'm not a great, negotiator. Sometimes I can do it. I don't do it as much as I should, not even close, because I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to go back and forth with someone, like, as if they're going to take it personally if I lowball them or something, like, that's how I think. I always think the worst. A lot of people with bad anxiety always think the worst. You don't have as much confidence. I have confidence with some things, but you don't have as much confidence, so you think everything's going to be, like, everybody's thinking the worst and all that stuff, and it's tough. It's tough, and then you get panic attacks. I mean, I get panic attacks too. I don't kind of equate them as the same thing, because my panic attacks are different. That's like the more overwhelming, like, just fear and the ghost feeling I've talked about, where I feel like I'm just going to fall into, like, infinite space, open spaces. Like, I said I can't say it. Agoraphobia or agoraphobia. I don't know, agoraphobia. Like, fear of open spaces. Like, when I first got into a plane for the first time in 20 years, I was so terrified the night before, because you're just in a plane in open space, But that's a problem, for me as well. And, it's just, it's tough. But panic attacks are more fear, and I haven't gotten a full-blown, truly terrible panic attack in a while. Like I said, that's more the fear and everything like that. That's more overwhelming fear, and fear of, like, oh my God, my heart, something's going to happen to me, I'm going to die, and all that stuff. But yeah, that's me babbling on about that, not crazy, but just kind of giving an update on it and stuff. Maybe people can relate to some of that. And as for the migraines, my migraines are doing pretty well, and now I got this, like, pain here. When I open my mouth, I got, like, pain in the upper jaw and, like, the temple, which I read can be kind of tension-related, headache-related. I've been getting headaches a little more now, and I get, sometimes, and I know people can relate to this. I'll get a migraine that will last 2 days, 3 days. It's not like the full force, but, like, if I get a bad headache, I usually get one the following day or the day after that. They suck. I'll throw up from my headaches. Light has never been a problem for me when I get a migraine. It's probably because I can't my left eye can't, like, see anything. Like, I'm looking at the screen now with my eyes closed, and it's all blur. I can't even see myself. Like, I have to be, like, right in front of the word for me to even see it somewhat. But, like, the light doesn't bother me. Smell definitely bothers me when I have a migraine, and sound sometimes does too. But I'll throw up and stuff like that. But I've been getting them a little more recently, more often. And maybe you guys can relate or, give some advice on that. I know people say Botox works. I don't really want to go to things like that, unless it was to the point where they're terrible. I mean, I've had moments where I'll have, like, 4 in a week. I've taken some stuff in the past that has helped. But right now I take, it's like tension headache medicine, from Target that actually works fairly well. Unless it's a bad one, it won't. I don't really, sometimes I get auras, I guess, but it's not often. And the funny thing is, a come down from a migraine is, like, the best. Like, you're, like, exhausted because a migraine takes so much out of you. It seems like something like, oh, it's just a headache, but it's when you have the pain in your head, like, it affects everything. You can't focus properly if you're nauseous. You can't. It sucks. ASMR has helped. Sometimes it will help if it gets me to sleep, because sometimes I can't sleep with a migraine. People probably relate to that too. I can't go to sleep if I have a bad migraine. It just doesn't happen. But the come down is great. It's actually like, oh, like you feel like a weight's been lifted and stuff, and you're all like, but I wouldn't want to get one just to have the come down of it. Migraines are a pain in the ass. And I heard acupuncture can work too, but once again, like the anxiety thing plays a part. It's like, oh, I gotta go get acupuncture. I gotta go do Botox injection. I think I look younger than my actual age, so I don't need no Botox yet. Specific things, and even sometimes listen to music on a lower level, kind of similar to ASMR, will actually calm it. Once again, it depends. Like I get a little one here. Like I'll get pains here, goes down into my shoulder and up. Like a lot of the times, it's just up the one side, and obviously tension ones come around. I've gotten sinus headaches as well. I think this might be sinus related too. Actually, I might have had problems. I might have to go to ear, nose, and throat at some point by the end of the year. And it's tough. Migraines are a pain in the ass. So if you have your migraine stories, let me know. Or if you follow me on Instagram, let me know on there as well. Like I said, anybody who follows me on Instagram, message me whenever you want on there. I go back and forth with a good amount of you, and I enjoy it. I like talking with people. I always like talking with my subs like that. I think maybe that's a difference between me and a lot of, and I don't, like I said, I have 4,000 some subs, which is great. It's a good amount. Don't get me wrong, but I'm talking people that have like 100,000. Obviously, it'd be hard to go back and forth with people, but even be like if I had 10, 15,000 subs, that would still be the same thing. I'd be responding to everybody's comments. I would be if I was talking to another 100 people on Instagram, I would do it, because it means something. I want it to be personal. I want to get to know people and stuff. It's not like, oh, you're just people who watch my stuff, your clicks, or you're watching my videos. It doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point is to go back and forth because the subs matter. You guys matter. In a lot of ways, I don't even like saying subs because it's not friendly enough. I could sit here and say friends. I talk to some of you. I guess I can consider, the people I talk to, you guys I talk to on Instagram, friends for sure. Your online friends or whatnot. And it matters. So I like talking to people. And if you message me, I'll message people. Maybe sometimes I get annoying with people I don't know. Because sometimes I'll spam. And you get older, you're not doing as many things. I'm still active, but I'm not like, I don't see my friends as much as I used to, and now I'm out further from them, so it's more of an issue. And you kind of, I don't know, you kind of just want to chat with people too. And I like doing it now. I like hearing stuff from people. So if anybody follows me on Instagram, whenever you want, just give me a message. I'll put the link. I'm putting the link. Somebody mentioned, I should put the link. And I used to put my PayPal. Maybe I'll just start putting all the links back in there again. I stopped. All the little symbols are on my homepage, including my eBay one, which I have nothing up right now. I've been very slow with eBay recently, like very slow. So, that's just how it is. I just figured I'd throw a video up here. It's kind of a ramble, talking anxiety, kind of just going on and on. And I think another thing with anxiety is too, if you get bad anxiety, and I have pretty bad, it's hindered pretty much my whole life in reality. I should have went through the proper measures when I was younger, but it gets in the way, and that's whatever. Doesn't matter. That's done. The past is in the past. Where else would it be? When you get anxious, you do kind of, hold yourself back, and you try to put myself in the most comfortable positions I can be in as well. Which, everybody wants to do anyway, but yeah, that was just a ramble there. Like I said, anybody has any input or want to share their stories, throw in the comments if you make it that far. This far in the video, I should say. As for videos coming up, I'll put this up on Saturday, which will be Saturday when you see it. I'm going to do another pickups video on I got 3 things, and somebody got something on my wish list, so it'll be another special pickup and regular pickups video like I did the last time, because I got another 3 games that I want to show. So, and I know you guys like the pickups videos. And this, I might try to do an eating video on Sunday. I almost did one. Not the Friday, I'll just say. But I didn't. So we'll see. I didn't do as many role plays as I wanted to. I think I only did 3. Maybe I'll probably end up squeezing up one more for this month, but I don't know. I still gotta do that another bookstore role play. That was the first big role play I ever did. Go back to, I haven't done one in a long time. But yeah, I mean, I don't even know what I'm saying now. Now it's like a ramble. It's like an incoherent ramble. I poured here today too. But anyway, yeah, anybody, like I said, share your stories and whatnot. I kind of feel like still talking here. If anybody, like I said, gets this far. Pickups video. I think I mentioned I wanted to get the PS. I'm going back and forth with what system I want next. It's ridiculous. This is what I do. This is what I do when it comes to video. I'll never be I don't know if people get this too. I'll never be satisfied by I have to have every system, and I don't think I'd still be satisfied. I get satisfied in spurts with video games, but it's so hard to continually be satisfied by video games because there's always something on another system you want. But yeah, share your experiences if you want. See a lot of this video. Trying to think of some other stuff to do video-wise. Haven't been able to do a garage sale pickups video since that first one. I mean, I've gotten a few things since then and made some decent profit, but I haven't gotten 7 or 8 games in a weekend or something. So it's funny, as on YouTube, I was looking at a Giant Bomb. They were talking over the Xbox thing. So Xbox games look pretty cool. I'm still favoring the PS5 over the Xbox Series X. But it showed a thing I watched it 2 years ago. It was for Action Park. It was a mini documentary on this place in used to be a theme park. It was called Action Park in Jersey back in the day. And this place was that movie Action Point was loosely based off it. It was they had 16-year-olds working in it. They give a shit. The rides would break. People would get hurt and shit. Man, it was crazy. It was a good documentary on it. I think they had every day they would have 10 ambulances in the parking lot just ready to go. People got hurt. Anyway, right now I am rambling, but yeah, anybody wants to share their experience or whatever, let me know, and thanks for checking this out, and have a good day.